Welcome to UCF Knightline, your source for UCF sports and former player information.
Hello, Night Nation. I am Andrew Phegley, and this is episode number 101 of the Knightline podcast.
On to the next 100. I'm Trylko. Hello, everyone.
All right, Knightline 101 is brought to you by the Dever Team, your source for New Smyrna Beach real estate and everything else New Smyrna Beach. Go to thedeverteam.com and call UCF alum Travis Dever for your New Smyrna Beach needs. 386-690-1636. 386-690-1636.
Next matchup in Orlando, UCF, which lost in the semifinals of the American Conference Tournament to SMU. The Knights making their first NIT appearance under new head coach Johnny Dawkins. Wednesday on ESPN3 and all of the Watch ESPN and ESPN apps will face the Colorado Buffaloes. Head coach Tad Boyle and players including Derek White. They went 8-10 in the Pac-12. This is the Buffs' 10th NIT appearance and their first since 2011.
Audio courtesy of ESPN. Thank you very much. Don't sue me.
No, we don't need that. Not on episode 101 after we cleared the 100 without a lawsuit.
Boy,
don't need it now.
Don't sue me, please.
In 101. So big basketball news leads off our show, but we've got other news. We've got football news. I should mention AJ Romsa is going to be helping break down the conference tournament. By the way, he was in the last time UCF played in an NIT. They lost, though, but he was on that last NIT team. And who won the NIT, Andrew, that year?
Johnny Dawkins and the Stanford Cardinal.
Ding, 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 ding. You win no prize.
Absolutely.
You
Well,
win no prize.
that's cool, though. It's kind of full circle for him because, he won the last time UCF was in it. And now he's coaching UCF in it.
How's about that? We've got football news for you as well. Spring schedule is announced. A couple of our Knights in the NFL get new jerseys, and UCF has an All-American. We're going to be talking about that.
You missed my whole in it thing. NIT, in it.
In it.
In it.
Okay.
NIT.
Yeah.
In it.
Got it.
Okay.
Got it.
Good.
We've also got the latest from baseball and softball. It is, however, basketball that tops the news. UCF hosting the NIT first-round matchup Wednesday at the Arena in Orlando. 7 o'clock start against Colorado from the Pac-12. Did a little research on this. UCF in the RPI ranking 69th, Colorado 99th. Little difference in the strength of schedule. UCF's is 99th. Colorado's is 86th. So Colorado just 4-8 away from home. That's a little bit of an advantage for UCF. And they're in this bracket with number 1 seed Illinois State. They play after UCF Wednesday when UC Irvine goes to Illinois State. So you never know. You get an upset here or there, and maybe UCF hosts a little bit more. But for now, to go from where we were a season ago in Johnny Dawkins' first year to hosting an NIT game in the opening round. What? A season, and it continues to roll along.
The only problem that I see with this whole thing is UCF hosting an NIT game on spring break.
Yeah, nobody's going to be there.
Yeah.
Well, not
students.
Nobody. No students. The regulars.
What a bummer as far as that goes, because the students really make a big difference in that building because, they just make a big difference. So hopefully some students will be able to be there. If you're not noticed, my voice is a little weird.
Weirder than usual.
So if you don't like my voice normally, you really won't like maybe you'll like it more this time. I don't know. But I'm going to try not to cough during this. I have this cough thing going on, and it's crazy.
Grateful Night Nation thanks you in advance.
Yeah, well, anyway. So lots of stuff. I mean, there's lots of stuff to talk about.
And, it all began Friday when UCF crushed Memphis. 84-54. My friend Bob, longtime UCF basketball fan, texted me that was the most dominant game against a quality opponent I have ever seen UCF have. That's pretty strong.
That's a bold statement.
Pretty strong right there.
Yeah.
They were firing from 3, 14 of 26. I mean, they just crushed Memphis, and that's how sweet that is because probably when it's one-sided like that, I don't know that it's a real rivalry. Memphis has really dominated that series. UCF just with the win earlier in the regular season, and then back when AJ played, they got the win. So it's not like it's been competitive.
Ran over by a Mustang.
And then that's a very good segue right there.
Over by a Mustang.
But it would turn out with SMU defeating Cincinnati in the conference title game on Sunday that UCF lost to the regular season champs and the eventual conference tournament champs. Still, though, UCF was in that game for a good stretch, had a little bit of a couple of technicals. Things went off the rails a little bit, a couple minute stretch in the second half, and UCF could not catch back up. But they certainly didn't embarrass themselves, and they played competitively. Final in that one, 70-59. For comparison purposes, Cincinnati lost in the title game 71-56. So we did a little better. I'll tell you what, had it worked out that UCF would have played Cincinnati, I would have liked our chances in that title game.
Yeah, a heck of a lot more. I have to say that it's I've said this a couple times, and I'm going to say it again. Danny White is doing an absolutely marvelous job at UCF. I'm not, one of those guys that is, says, praises Danny White at every turn. I like a lot of the things that he's doing. I don't like some of them. But I have to say, with basketball especially, he's done amazing things with the coaches that he has hired, and look where we are. He tweeted yes earlier with a bunch of exclamation points, and that is absolutely awesome. Yes, Danny White.
That's right. And one of those hires that he made was Johnny Dawkins, who has success, 2 NIT titles. And I'll tell you what, we've been lobbying for him. We've been talking about him. Should have been Conference Coach of the Year. That was not meant to be. SMU's head coach, Tim Jankovich, was named the AAC's Coach of the Year. Certainly deserving. 17-1 in the regular season.
Yeah.
They won the conference tournament, and now a 6th seed in the NCAA tournament. The American puts 2 teams, SMU and Cincinnati, in the NCAA tournament. That put 2 schools into the NIT in UCF and Houston. So your top 4 teams advanced to those 2 postseason tournaments.
But back to the Coach of the Year thing. Here's where I don't agree with that. SMU was picked to do that well, or, at least was expected to do that well.
I agree with you.
UCF, with the 7 scholarship players that they have and 0 bench, we've got a guy that was a water boy or a team manager or whatever that had to come out and play a couple times.
I forgot about him. Everybody saw action on Friday.
21 wins, and Johnny Dawkins isn't the Coach of the Year. That's ridiculous to me. I'm sorry.
Yeah. I mean, again,
ridiculous.
SMU's coach is deserving. I just would have liked to have seen Johnny get that. They were very pumped up, excited after winning, no doubt, there on Friday with Memphis. A little bit of a different feeling seeing the team lose to SMU, and Coach Dawkins react to knowing UCF played a pretty good opponent.
I thought it was a hard-fought game. I thought we lost to a good team. I mean, they're a champion of that league for a reason. I thought those guys made a lot of big plays when they had to, and they defended very well also. So, they're a very good team, and I thought they played well tonight.
Well, Dawkins did not name Coach of the Year. It was Taco Fall, who was named the Americans' Defensive Player of the Year. Also earning some recognition, second-team All-Conference B.J. Taylor, who at the end of the SMU game didn't know whether UCF would have postseason games, and he was already thanking the contributions of UCF's 3 seniors.
I just want to thank the seniors, Matt Williams, Nick, and Tank, for everything they've done for the program. I mean, they were the leaders of it. Me and Matt were the captains, but they were the leaders of it. And, I mean, they've set a great foundation and established a great culture for what UCF is going to be in the future. So, I can't thank them enough for what they've done for our team this year.
Let's talk about UCF's American Conference tourney run as well. UCF now being in the NIT with former Knights point guard A.J. Ramsa. A.J., we thank you always for stopping by Knightline.
Always. I appreciate you guys having me.
Before we get into breaking down UCF's decisive win over Memphis, tough loss against SMU, and talk a little bit more about the NIT, one of the message board posters, Mecca Knight, wanted us to ask you a question. I thought it was a pretty good question. He says, your basketball insider, A.J. Ramsa, seems to put a lot of emphasis on the emotional side of the game, doesn't say as much about strategy. And his question then is basketball inherently a more emotional and less analytical game compared to most other sports? The game has fewer players, fewer breaks, less space to work with. So to a layman like myself, it seems more dependent on the raw talent and instincts of the players. What say you?
For me, I mean, at this point, when you play basketball at college, Division I level, when you play basketball and obviously the NBA, they say it's 90% mental, 10% physical. So obviously, you need to have skills to be at this point, and I understand what he's saying. It's emotional and this and that, but I mean, at this point, it's mental because the skills are there. If you don't have the skills, you're not playing at that level. And I think that's honestly the confusion that people get is, and I love it. I'm not going to go off board, but I love it when people comment on different, and I'm not saying to the message board, just in general, but for me, I love talking sports because I played it. And people don't realize the how stressful mentally it is on your, just on you, period, playing the game. So, yeah, I do think that, yeah, you got to have skills and this and that, but, I mean, the game, a lot of it's mental going into it, the preparation and all that. I mean, the skills, you got to have it to be at this point, but to really succeed, it's mentally.
So UCF's last NIT appearance, last postseason appearance, you well remember, was against Drexel in the NIT in 2012 season. The question here is, when you know you're learning that you're going to play Drexel, what do you know about Drexel going into the game? So this question now, UCF learns on a Sunday night they're playing Colorado. What do they know about Colorado, and how much are they going to learn about Colorado before first tip Wednesday at 7 o'clock?
Well, see, the awesome thing is with the NIT and the NCAA tournament and all these others, these are teams that you don't see through the year. So it's going to be a completely different strategy than they have against conference teams and obviously other teams they prepared. They're going to have a lot of tape on Colorado, and they're going to go over their schemes, and they're going to go over what they do best and who their main players are and what they have to do. But again, it's about executing what UCF needs to do. You know, there's only so much that you can worry about the other team, and you're gonna know their plays and you're gonna know what they like to do. But at the end of the day, it's about coming out, performing. You got to play defense. You know that. So I mean, you're gonna have the strategies. You're gonna know the ins and outs, but again, you got to perform. That's what it comes down to. It's whoever lays it out on the line.
Well, it's kind of come full circle for head coach Johnny Dawkins because in 2012, the Sanford Cardinal won the NIT, the last year that UCF was in it. So what is it, how big of a deal is it having a coach that has NIT experience and winning the NIT, now taking UCF to the NIT?
Well, he's been there before. He knows what to expect. He knows what it takes to win. And like you said, he's won an NIT there. So he knows going in, he's already been through it. He's already prepared. He knows what to expect. He knows how hard you have to play. And so now what Coach Dawkins is going to do is kind of implement that into his team and tell him, hey, this is, if you were going this hard, now NIT, you got to take it up another notch. It's not, you don't come out and play kind of hard for 5 minutes and then stop, and then you have right now you got to play a full 20-minute first half, another full 20-minute second half, because that's how good these guys are. I mean, it's an NIT. It's not every single team in the country goes to these tournaments. It's the teams that performed well in order to earn these bids.
Well, very few players know what beating Memphis is like, and you know what that feeling is. Talk about this game Friday. UCF trailed early. Taco Fall got into some early foul trouble. UCF fans know it's not a very deep bench. Taco sits. Chad Brown comes in. UCF goes on a barrage of threes. They take a 43-26 lead into the half en route to an 84-54 victory over Memphis. As impressive a win as UCF has ever had. What say you?
Yeah. Oh, I agree. I mean, there was even sometimes when I was watching the game and I was like, I know I've been on the other end where Memphis has beat us pretty bad a couple of times. So I knew what it was like, but I mean, I was watching that game and I was just, honestly, I was amazed. You got to remember, Memphis is always going to be a team that plays hard. Memphis is who they are. They obviously have a target on their back just because of the school and Coach Calipari being there before and just having a great resume that they have, having a great university. And I think that for UCF to get a win like that in the conference tournament, I mean, it's huge. And I think it's just, honestly, for the first year, as we talked about before, I mean, all they're doing is continuing to build. They're just stepping up the stairs. They're continuing to build. They're continuing to get better. And I hate to say it again, but again, this is Coach Dawkins' first year. I mean, to go to the tournament your first year with 7 scholarship guys and kind of a lot of people not expecting or not knowing what to expect and just kind of going into the season, I wouldn't say blindsided, but just kind of going into the season saying, hey, let's see what happens. And for him to exceed expectations from the fans and I'm sure the school and everyone around, and everyone knows he's a winner. He's always been a winner. But it's like anything, I think you need time to adjust and for people to really, get to know Coach Dawkins. But, I mean, when you have a winning season, your first year, it takes away a lot of the other pressure. It takes away some of the negativity that may be there if it wasn't a winning season.
Now, UCF throughout the season was one of the best schools in the country defensively. What did you see in the Friday win over Memphis from a defensive standpoint? Also, tell us a little bit more about what you were as a player on the defensive side of the ball.
They're making it. You got to pick them. You got to pick them up full court. I mean, I don't know. This is me saying it as if I was coaching or if I was having my players. But I mean, you make it as hard as possible for them. UCF with Taco Falls. I mean, I love watching him play. He's only getting better. He's going to become more aggressive. He's going to learn how to use his body. He's going to learn how to not go over the back on certain stuff. All he's doing is developing. And that's the crazy thing with BJ being only a sophomore. I mean, for these guys to make it this far under Coach Dawkins' first year and for them to be able to perform this well, I mean, going in, this honestly after, and I hate to jump and we'll see what happens with the NIT, but I mean, this summer is huge. This next year, people are looking and say, oh, okay, we saw him make it this far his first year. Well, we had a little taste of success. Now we want even more. Now we want to, now we want to win 25 games. Now we want to win 26 games. Whatever it is. But now they have that edge where a lot of teams don't have it. And now in the summer, you came off a winning year and there's people talking about you and the school's excited and the fans are excited. I mean, you got a little more bounce in your step this summer when you're working out. And to go off of what you said, me defensively, I mean, I tried to cause as many problems as I could. Being smaller, I had to. I was like the fly that everyone wanted to swat away and push away and get away. But that's what I had to do because as a point guard, when that other point guard's bringing that ball up and you're pressuring them and you're in and out on them and you're making it uncomfortable, that screws up their whole offense. Because if you're letting that point guard walk in comfortably, run the play, get into his big guy, I mean, they're able to run offense. And for me, I mean, at one point I was top 5 in the country in steals. So for me, I prided myself on defense because it's the stuff that not a lot of people want to do. It's the stuff that, if it has to be done, okay, we'll have a couple guys step up. But for me, I loved it. I mean, I loved getting under people's skin and making them mad and doing what I had to do in order to win and to help the team.
We'll talk a little bit now about hitting the three-point shot. UCF was 14 of 26 in that game. They were just on fire. Yep. Matt Williams was firing them. Come back 24 hours later, and that slowed down a bit. It was a different kind of game. Talk about the emotion and the momentum as a player when you're a guy who can hit a three. What can change in those 24 hours with all due credit to the American Athletic Conference regular season and now conference tournament champion SMU Mustangs? They played a great game, but individually, what as a three-point shooter changes in 24 hours where you're so hot and then so not?
And there's so much. That's what makes the game of basketball, the game of sports, so great because you can't control. I mean, you can prepare yourself, like you can work out, you can do, but you can't control whether you're going to have a good game or a bad game. Sometimes that rim seems as if it's as big as the ocean, you can throw rocks in there, and then sometimes it feels like if you were on top of the rim, you can't even put the ball in. But I mean, I feel like that's what makes sports great, and of course, I mean that's what happens. But I mean, that's basketball. There's none. You can't hold your head. One game you had, like you said, they shot great. They had 14 threes. The next they might not. But that's great teams learn. If you have a bad shooting game, okay, that's going to happen. That's going to happen a lot of times. So what's that mean? You pick up your defense. You go down low and you get something inside first, and maybe you open up that outside. And those shooters, Matt, and all those guys are opening up on the outside because now the ball's going inside. But, I mean, those are different things. Again, with the coming back or shooting great on Friday and then shooting not as well on Saturday, that's going to happen. That's basketball. There's nothing you can do. There's stuff, just like in life, you can't control. You can't sit there and say, man, this is horrible. We're not going to hit shots. We're not going to hit shots. The game's over. No, you find something else that you'll do better at that game, whether it's pick up the defense intensity, whether you get more layups, something to make up for those when you're having a bad shooting game.
Mentally, is it different going into a tournament like the NIT versus every other game during the season? Is it something more mentally?
I think I don't even know if it's more mentally. I mean, if you put it on yourself more, then yes, it will be. But I think now, like I said, they're at the end of the season. If you're not ready to play, and if you're not prepared, and if you're not meant, then it's on you. You don't want it, because right now at the end of the season, you know all the plays. You know where your guys want to be on offense. You know what your players like to do. So I mean, at this point, you gotta really. I mean, you gotta be mentally locked in, but you just gotta be able to play at this point. At the end of the season, NIT or not, you're still playing. You got to give it everything you have.
Well, let me ask you, now let's go back to this. You're talking about a mental game. You're also talking about composure. And there was a stretch in the second half. UCF trailed 26-23 against SMU at halftime. Then there was that stretch in the second half. It was still back and forth, and then a couple of technical fouls, and then they got a little wobbly. Things began to unravel a bit. The lead stretched out 10-12, and they could not get it back together. From your vantage point, what did you see in those technical fouls, fair calls, and what was your assessment of that little stretch there where things unraveled?
I did see that, and there's a play, and I never put a game on one player, or I never put it on one person, just because, especially me, I love to put the blame on me just so no one else had to take it. But as DJ grows up, as he gets older, he's only a sophomore. He made a crucial play where he followed the guy on the three, which isn't the mistake he made. It was more of the attitude he had after it. Kind of put his head down, and again, he's young. He's a sophomore. Everyone's going to do it. I've done it. But as you grow older, you realize the guys around you look at that. And as BJ's a leader and he's hitting all these clutch shots, all of his teammates, whether he knows it or not, they're all looking at him. They're looking for him for the leadership. They're looking at him in order to lead the team to win. And so when you, as a leader, you put your head down and you see your guys they can tell that automatically. And I saw that, and I saw they tried to huddle up and get everything situated. But moments like that, I mean, guys can tell, and that's why you can't lose your composure. At moments when those guys, say they go on a 10-0 run, there's going to be spurts. That's basketball. You're going to go up, you're going to go down, but that's the thing. You got to control the men. You got to, even if you go down, you have to, in your head, know, hey, we can come back. You don't have to go for the big home run plays. You get a quick basket here. We could come back, get a stop. But I think when you're young and you start to lose composure, and maybe in some games where it's close and you feel like if we made if we would have fixed a couple of mistakes, we could have won that game. That comes with maturity. And I think that's the only thing right now, that it's going to become better. And as you deal with the little stretches of bad play here and there, I mean, that's what you got to expect. They're young, they're learning, but I mean, they're giving everything they have, and that's all you can ask. They're playing hard. They're playing as hard as anyone I've seen, and I love it.
You certainly can't compare one year to the next as the players change, but go back to that NIT game with UCF and Drexel. No doubt you were thinking these same things back then about being mentally prepared. What happened in that game? It wasn't close. You faced a great team that night?
No, I agree with you. Again, you come in there, if you're not mentally ready, if you're not mentally prepared, I mean, you're not going to win. It's just like life. If you're not prepared for the day, you're not going to do well. And I'm not saying that if we came in and kind of the NIT, that's something that you got to appreciate. I mean, you're still playing basketball when other people are on vacation. And I think that game, you just come in there and it is what it is. We didn't play well. We didn't play up to expectations. We came in and we got whooped, and that's what happens. And again, like I said, at the end of the season, you got to play hard. But let me say this: don't just because it's the NIT. I don't want people to think, oh, well, it's not. No. It's people are coming to play, and they're playing even harder. They're giving a little bit more because it is the NIT. But at this time and point at the end of the year, you got to be ready for that. And to go back when we played directly, they hit us in the face. I mean, that's why I said you can't come out slow in the first 2, 3, 4, 5 minutes and think you're just going to be, let me get loose, and then we'll start playing with 10 minutes in the first half, and then we'll come out in the second. It doesn't work like that. These teams come out to play, and when they hit you in the face, they keep going. They don't fall back and take it easy on you.
All right, so there's some weird rule changes that they're making. They're experimental rule changes, they say, for the NIT this year.
Uh-oh.
2 10-minute segments each half. So they're splitting the game into 2 10-minute segments of each half. The second segment will start at 9:59, That's the first one. Team fouls reset to 0 at the end of each segment. That's kind of interesting. Teams limited to 4 personal and / technical fouls per segment. Each additional foul, the opposite team will shoot 2 free throws. In overtime, teams limited to 3 personal technical fouls, and each additional foul will be 2 free throw attempts. That's kind of weird that they're doing stuff like that. How does that change the game?
That's a lot of different rules, but there was some that I couldn't even keep up with because you were telling me so many. But that's again, it does change because it's something that you're not used to. And the thing is, if the guys are used to going a certain way, a certain amount of time, 20 minutes first half, it's going to be different. But again, the people who win, the people who succeed in life, they're able to adjust to change. It's not because, hey, listen, UCF is not the only ones that have to deal with the rules. The other teams have to do with the rules as well. That's why I say it comes down to who gets it, who wants it more. Because at the end of the day, the rules, but both teams have to do it. So whoever comes in and lays down or plays as hard as they can, and they don't worry about the stuff they can't control. Listen, there's different rules, whatever. That's going to come as the game goes on. But in your head, when you're playing, you're not sitting here thinking, okay, well, this has changed. No, you're just playing basketball. But you got to be aware of those different situations, especially because they're so different now. That's incredible that they've changed them that much.
Yeah, do you think that the 10-minute segments would kind of kill momentum if you had it, or it would give a chance for the team maybe that's not doing so well to come back? It may keep some teams in the game by doing that. I don't know if they're going to stop it or.
I was going to say, it's gonna be exciting to see just to see how it goes and see how teams how well they do, I guess, or how bad they do it. And honestly, some teams, they might benefit from it. Some teams, they might not benefit from it. It's going to see whoever favor it works for. That'll honestly, the teams that accept and say, okay, well, this is what we got to deal with, whatever, and they accept it, and then they find a way around it. They find a way to deal with it, and they find a way to win. But honestly, that's gonna. I can't wait to watch that. I definitely want to see that just because is this the first year they've done it?
Yeah, these are new. So with the segments, it's almost making 4 quarters of a game instead of 2 halves, kind of like NBA style. I think
Right. That's. I don't know. For me, honestly, I kind of like the 10-minute half or the 10-minute quarters. I would honestly like that. I like quarters. The halves for me, when I did it, obviously, like I said, I adjusted to it. I learned, but it's like anything. It's just different when you play quarters. Because you might, like you said, you might have something great, and then the other team comes back, just like in a regular game. But with the 20-minute half, it's just different. I have a different feeling just about just playing with it because it is different. And it's kind of, it doesn't sound great how I'm explaining it, but as an athlete, I'm visualizing, and I like to play quarters. That's just me personally.
You mentioned earlier that the teams may not know a lot about one another, and you may know not a whole lot about Colorado. I will tell you they're 19-14. They are 4-8 away from home. So and they lost in their second round game in the conference tournament. All things that we know about UCF, I like to think our chances are pretty good on Wednesday in that opening round of the NIT. Don't you?
Oh, I agree with you. Anytime. First of all, anytime that you're playing NIT is huge. Second, anytime that you're at home, it's even bigger. You got your home crowd. When you're waking up. Your pregame routine, the breakfast with the team. You're not staying in another hotel. It's just it's comfortable. And I think as players and as coaches, you enjoy playing at home. It's like being at home. There's no better feeling. You know that, and I think that them going in and beating Memphis and obviously they know they could have played a lot better against SMU, but they have to be pretty positive with where they are. They got to be. I'd be excited if I was them and just how far they've come and what they've been able to do under the circumstances. But see, those are excuses. Those are what we give people in life to say, oh, hey, you know what? You're not doing this well here. Let's say that. Let's give this excuse. And I think that you throw that out the window and you just play basketball and you listen to the coach and obviously what they're saying. But it comes down to you just got to play. You have to do what you love. You're not doing this because. You're not doing this because it's a forced thing. You're doing it because this is what you chose to do with your life. You earned a scholarship to play at the highest level of basketball and you're doing what you love, I think you gotta embrace it. You throw the excuses out because it's easy. It's easy to give yourself, we lost that because BJ missed a shot or this guy. It's easy to do that. But I think when it's not one play that changes the game, it's 15, 20 throughout a whole game. But people are so focused on that one play, and for them, I think they're going to get it. I hope, and the way they've been playing, and I've been watching, I feel like they'll get a big win Wednesday, and I hope they do. But the momentum's on their side. Who cares if they lost that last game? I mean, that's what I'm saying. Hey, listen, we got another game to play. We throw that out. We know we made a lot of mistakes. It's done with. We got another day to play. We're waking up, and we have a reason to wake up. We have a reason they're giving another day to play. We got to embrace that. We got to take it in, and we got to enjoy it.
All right, AJ, thank you very much again for your insight into all of this. We really appreciate it. Hopefully next week when we talk to you, on the Sundays with AJ show.
Come on, let's keep our fingers crossed, please.
That we will be talking about a victory and where it goes from there. So
Yes, I love it. Positive vibes, good energy, and I just want to say thank you guys so much. Honestly, I appreciate it.
We appreciate it more. Thank you so much, and we will talk to you soon.
So, Colorado at UCF, 7 o'clock, Wednesday night, opening round to the NIT. Opportunity for UCF to continue what has been a tremendous season.
There are so many ways to connect with Knightline. You can like us on Facebook at Knightline Podcast, or follow us on Twitter at UCF_Knightline. Check out our website at www.ucfnightlinepodcast.com for recruit spotlights, archived episodes, and more. Or, of course, you can always call us at 407-401-9184. That's 407-401-9184. Listen whenever and wherever you are on YouTube, SoundCloud, Stitcher, iTunes, or tune in. Go Knights and charge on! Now, back to Knightline with Andrew and Trace.
So the men are in the NIT. The women, they await their postseason opportunities. The women's NCAA and NIT fields announced Monday night. First, the women's NCAA tournament field will be released at 8. Then the NIT field of 64 is revealed with pairings announced the rest of the evening. And UCF expected to be in that field for the women's NIT. What has turned out to be a tremendous year for women's basketball. But I got to tell you, Andrew, that Coach Abe was robbed. Robbed, I tell you.
Absolutely.
The American decided that two coaches, UConn's and Tulsa, would share Coach of the Year honors. Boo hiss. Coach Abe deserved some recognition for the tremendous season that the women put out there.
Absolutely. Guess what? Spring football is here.
Yeah.
Almost.
How about that? No, it is right around the corner.
Yeah, the 21st. UCF announced the spring ball gets underway March 21st, right around the corner. The final of 15 practices concludes with the spring game, a primetime game scheduled for 6:30 on Saturday, April 22nd, in the UCF football stadium.
You know, it still has that name.
Still says Bright House.
Of a cable company that doesn't exist in that name anymore.
I wonder what the deal is with that.
I don't know. But it's still on the building.
Interesting. Again, practice is closed to the public and to media. They allow like one time to come out there for media. So
right at the beginning and right at the end.
Yeah, that's good. At least they allow one. At least there's one. So it's all good.
How about the Knights in the NFL? Speaking of football, some UCF players made some moves in the last couple of days.
Yeah, that Jacksonville team up north is looking more and more like UCF North, and it could even get more UCF North-ish.
How about teal, black, and gold?
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Because Latavius Murray could wind up there as well, with A.J. Boye, Blake Bortles. Who knows who else could be there?
So Murray is checking out Seattle and Jacksonville this week.
That's awesome. You're a Seattle fan.
He would be much needed there.
He would, but they've got quite a few guys that are checking that place
Several
out as
Chiefs.
well.
Jamal Charles is on that list checking out the to hurt the Seahawks.
As far as Jamal Charles goes, I just don't think that he's going to do anything. The knees are done for him. And I also thought that Brandon Marshall was done. Remember, I said that? I stand corrected.
Well, no, I think he's still got some tread on the tires.
I stand corrected. So he is signed with the Giants. Let's hear what he had to say about that.
Everyone has their own journey, and for me, I wanted to prove myself the first couple years in Denver that I belong in the NFL, and I did that. And then I transitioned to proving that I deserve a contract, and I did that. And when I got to Miami, I started realizing, I can win. We're here to win. And since then, I've been on this journey, and that's been my only mission is to hoist that Lombardi trophy. So, it's funny because now I can, instead of looking at the big picture every single day, like the trophy, I want that. Now I can just focus on the small details in the process to get there, because I understand that everyone in this building is their focus and their energy is for that. But to get to that, it takes, a routine and, just a focus on the day-to-day stuff. And that's what I'm focused on, is how can I be better today? Because if you continue to stack those days on top of each other, eventually you'll get there. And I think we have everything here to get the job done.
If you think about this, since he was with the Jets and now he's with the Giants, number one, he probably didn't even leave the parking lot before they were like, okay, Brandon, come here. Come here. Don't go to your car. Come here. Come back in the building. Let's talk. See this? Here's our Super Bowl trophies. You see this? You've walked past this. I wonder if their offices are on opposite sides of the building or something. How would you do that? Two front offices. I'm sure, though. Where are the Jets trophies?
Well, they got one.
They have one.
Yeah, from a long time ago.
Yeah, with Joe.
Yeah.
Brandon
inks a 2-year deal worth $12 million. And, it seems like a good fit there.
I was looking, actually. I saw something on the board. There was a conversation, and Brandon had put up a link.
Brandon Marshall?
No, Brandon.
The Brandon Hellwig.
Brandon Hellwig.
Yes. All caps, bolded.
Yes. He had put up a link to, the players' salaries or whatever, and Brandon Marshall has made some money over the years. I mean, wow. I'm surprised. It's like $80 million something after this contract.
Long career, no postseason appearances. Will he snap that drought?
I think so, with the Giants. All right, so also A.J. Boye. This is a good clip. He talks kind of about Blake a little bit, and then also something special at the end, and I really like this.
I talked to Blake probably a week before. He was just basically telling me about the city, and, me and my dad sat there and was talking to him, and just listening to him, you could tell that he's really focused. I know a lot of people that's been giving him a hard time, but, everybody mess up in the league. It's the NFL. You're not going to be perfect, and, I judge a lot of people by how they bounce back or, if they're relentless or not, how they face adversity. And one thing is he said he's focused. He's in California right now, and I could just hear it in his voice like he's just ready to go. And, I'm close to home. I'm close to UCF. And I'm just ready to compete with those guys, man. I know they're looking for great things.
Could you do us a favor and pronounce your last name right so we get it?
Boye.
Boye, okay.
Yeah, not Bouye, Booty. Booyah.
I think that's awesome. I don't know who the reporter was that asked that question, but, man, that's good stuff.
That is good stuff. 5-year deal worth $67.5 million, of which just $26 million is guaranteed.
Well,
only $26 million.
Only. That'll buy a lot of Coronas.
Ooh, in Jacksonville.
Or something, yeah.
Josh Robinson inks a new 2-year deal with Tampa Bay, so another former Knight hanging around the NFL.
I read an article at some point that they were talking about A.J. Boye. Booyah. Sorry. Now I'm saying it all those different ways that he said it. Anyway, that somebody big in the NFL media-wise said that he will become a household name this year with this contract. And that's exciting. I mean, that has to be exciting for him. There was a little video of him on a plane going to Jacksonville after knowing, that he signed the contract and all that, and it's pretty cool. He was very excited. I'm friends with him on Facebook, and he posted, a thing saying, hey, sorry, I haven't gotten back to y'all. Thank you, because, when any of this stuff happens, the Facebook feed gets blown up, the cell phone gets blown up. It's crazy. So Good to see a good dude getting money. And, hopefully pulling the Jacksonville Jaguars out of the swamp that they're in.
Swamp, indeed.
Yeah.
You mentioned good guy doing well. How about a future NFL player that may have very well hit the radar in a big way this week? The blazing speed of Shaquille Griffin, who joined us just a few weeks ago before going to the Combine. How about his time?
Yeah,
in that
and
40?
I tried to get him on again for this one, but like I said, he's being talked to by a lot of people. He's got a lot of business to take care of right now, so that didn't happen.
4.38 in the 40, fourth fastest 40 time amongst 50 defensive backs in the NFL Combine. Overall, Griffin tied for second for best combined grade among defensive backs. So, when does he change his name where that S in Shaquille is a $sign? He improved his stock, don't you think?
Absolutely,
just a little bit
yeah.
with that?
No, it's awesome.
Yeah.
It couldn't have happened to a better guy. And, I was watching it.
There he is right there.
Yeah,
there he is right
we're
there.
We're actually watching the
NFL Network right there in the background. There he is.
Replaying it right now. So 4.39 he ran at first, and then they actually switched it back to a 4.38.
How about that? That's pretty good timing for us.
It was, yeah. It just happens to be playing on the NFL Network
which
as
they
we
play
speak.
over and over again.
But
if you missed it, just flip on the NFL Network.
Everybody had great comments to make about him. One of the people that really had great comments about him is Deion Sanders. Deion had great things to say about Shaquille. It was awesome.
Great week for Knights in the NFL. Coming up, we're going to take you around the horn for a look at baseball and softball.
Hey, Knight fans, this is Jeff Sharon.
And this is Eric Lopez.
And when you're not listening to Andrew and Trace with the Knightline podcast, make sure you listen to our show, the Black and Gold Banneret podcast.
Jeff and I come at you every week to keep you updated on all UCF sports, from football and basketball to volleyball and softball.
And we'll also have special guests, including coaches and former players from across the UCF sports spectrum.
We'll dive into all the latest news and stories, and we'll get you ready for the upcoming week in UCF sports.
Subscribe to us on iTunes, Google Play, SoundCloud, and TuneIn Radio.
And follow us on Twitter at UCF_Banneret and at blackandgoldbanneret.com, where we also post some pretty cool features you'll want to read.
It's the Black and Gold Banneret podcast with me, Jeff Sharon.
And me, Eric Lopez.
Part of blackandgoldbanneret.com.
And now back to Knightline Podcast with our buddies Andrew and Trace.
Now, Jeff and Eric are kicking around that we should have some sort of Banneret versus Knightline game within the game during football season. So I need some ideas. Knight Bengal, I need some ideas. Big 12 Knights, folks that listen to us on the message boards that know the show, we do game within the game, a group of my friends at basketball where we each pick a player, and
whoever scores the most
you get points. And then match within the match at Orlando City games, you get 3 for a goal, 1 for an assist. What can we do in football? So if it's 2 teams of 2, Banneret versus Knightline, because it makes it a little bit hard with a quarterback. Like, we could each take a running back, or we could each take a wide receiver. Maybe
football,
2 running backs, 2 wide receivers.
In football, a lot of players, every once in a while you'll see a player puke. Could you get, extra points for that?
No. You're distorting this game now.
Or minutes down on the field for an injury.
No.
Oh, that's soccer because they flop.
Oh,
you could give them minutes for that in your match, in the match. You totally could. That'd be awesome.
No.
It's there's so many floppers. It's crazy.
We got some months to figure this out. But I like the idea of some sort of friendly rivalry with a Banneret on some sort of game within the game during UCF football season.
Mouthpieces lost?
No.
Something. I don't know.
All right,
we're having fun with this.
All right, so we need some ideas. Knight Bengal, others out there, what do you think? Give us some ideas.
That's 2 Knight Bengals in this.
Yeah.
This one little segment, 2 Knight Bengals. Now it's 5. It's all good, though. We like that guy.
Yeah. Let's talk a little bit about baseball. UCF rebounds from a 2-game sweep to FSU. Let me just dismiss all that. Let's just not even talk about that, because we turned some Knightline Nows for that. I gave you some Knightline Nows coming out of both baseball games.
I see. Trace, you're doing so well with those Knightline Nows. Seriously.
Did I set that up for you?
You did. Perfectly. That's awesome. We re-recorded a couple things here.
And you forgot to mention that.
Yes.
Again.
Trace, seriously, though, I love what you're doing with the Knightline Nows. You're keeping me busy editing audio.
You get home at midnight.
I get home at midnight, and I'm editing audio until 2 o'clock in the morning.
And
But we are going to leave those things on SoundCloud and all the other things instead of just putting them on YouTube, because that wouldn't really work. And YouTube has gotten weird. I don't know why. I don't know. Anyway.
I can tell people are listening to them on the SoundCloud or however they get their podcasts.
So they'll be on your iPhone. They'll be on, your other phone. If you have an Android phone, through the Google Play store and all that stuff. So free, by the way, on Google Play. Free, by the way, on iTunes, SoundCloud, and many more. I'm in a good mood. It's kind of weird. I'm sick and I'm in a good mood.
Is this leading, though, with the Nightline Nows and the extras? When does the 24-hour news channel begin? The Nightline News Network.
We could do it. I thought about there. There are those 24-hour. Yeah. Okay. Here, if you want this to happen, tell me. Send me something and tell me that you want the Nightline After Dark.
Nightline. I turned the lights out, so now that we're just sitting in the dark in the studio.
This is
we're
weird.
getting a little punchy now.
Yeah, it's after dark right now. Anyway, so I was thinking it is very possible to do a 24-hour Nightline channel. I could just replay everything that we have just in succession. It would just play from the beginning all the way to the end.
I would like to re-listen. I'm going to go back and re-listen to your solo show.
Oh, don't quit mentioning that.
How about
it was horrible.
How about we start a new podcast where we review and critique the previous episodes? So we go back and critique episode 1.
And we could dress like the Muppet guys, and we could sit in the little balcony thing of the theater.
Yeah.
It could be like Mystery Theater 2000 as well, because we could interject our comments in with, I don't know, the Muppets. What were those guys' names?
Look that up, will you? As I mentioned, by the way, that UCF got
I guess we don't have an intern anymore.
He's on spring break or something.
Well, he's on a permanent spring break.
He's been on a 3-week spring break.
Yeah, whatever.
Yeah,
Jason.
Yeah, APB.
You're fired.
APB
You're
out
fired.
for him. If you've seen Jason,
fired.
Let us know. Meantime, baseball got swept by Florida State, which prompted all that praise.
He's not fired. You're not fired, Jason. Please come back.
UCF swept Central Michigan. Knights rallied for the win Saturday night. The Sunday game got moved up to Saturday because there was a threat of rain. I never saw a drop of rain today, but nonetheless.
It rained a couple
Did
times.
It? Never saw a drop of rain. Eli Putnam singled in the tying and winning runs in UCF's come-from-behind 5-4 victory over the Chippewas. Now, first, what you're about to hear was pretty fun. Eli getting doused with water by his happy teammates and his reaction after the game-winning bases-loaded single.
If you're wearing headphones, I'm sorry.
Great job, Eli. For Eli. What was the question? I was asking. Not done yet. Right. It's all routines, which is what we talk about. We talk a lot about mental game and like stepping up in like these big situations where you have bases loaded, one out. You're not trying to do too much. Obviously, you can't get doubled up, but you're just looking to do something simple just to get the run across. Just one at a time, just what we talked about constantly, just pass the bat to the next guy, and, eventually you scrape a few across.
By the way, Statler and Waldorf are the pair of Muppet characters known for their cantankerous opinions and mutual penchant for heckling.
Is this Wikipedia?
This is, that's right there.
Yeah.
There they are.
Cantankerous.
I
love that word.
That seems to sum things up pretty well.
Yeah. That would be perfect for us.
Back to baseball, the weekend standout. True freshman Rylan Thomas had a heck of a series against Central Michigan. He went 8 of 11 with 4 home runs, 12 RBIs, now with a team-leading .396 batting average. Oh, yeah, he also came in relief in Saturday's final game, picking up the W.
Wow, that's crazy.
It's just a different feel, honestly. It's just the way your arm moves and stuff like that, and just the rhythm of everything. Because when you're in the infield and stuff like that, everything's so fast-paced. But when you get on the mound, you got to just take a deep breath and just work through it and try to pound zone.
Now, head coach Greg Lovelady also talking about Jason Barr's start. The hurler had 9 Ks Saturday, and he also comments on his team's strong pitching so far. The Knights are 14-3, 2.31 ERA.
I mean, we got some decent starts this week. I mean, Jason pitched pretty well. Had a bunch of strikeouts, and it just got in a little bit of trouble. 2-out walk in the first led to 2 runs. It didn't finish the inning. His fastball command was there today. When he has fastball command, he throws as hard as he does, and you're able to mix in some off-speed stuff to make that fastball look even a little bit faster. But he did a good job. I mean, our pitching's been phenomenal all year. So just really proud of all the guys. I mean, Chefs comes in and does a phenomenal job, and then Thomas. So really, really proud of the pitching staff again, and glad that last inning worked out our way.
UCF back at it versus Bradley Tuesday night at 6:30 at J. Bergman Field. Then Jacksonville on Friday at home. Then they travel to Jacksonville for games Saturday and Sunday. So a kind of a strange 3-game series. 1 in Orlando, 2 up in Jacksonville.
All right, softball takes 3 of 5 at home over the weekend, including a narrow 6-5 loss to Georgia. UCF is now 13-9 on the season. Up next, the homestand continues with a pair of games against Iowa State on the 14th, and then Baylor comes to UCF over the weekend.
By the way, Statler and Waldorf, they also had a predisposition for breaking the fourth wall. At the end of one episode, they looked at the camera and asked, "Why do you watch it?" And in another episode, Statler stated he didn't care for puppets much, not finding them believable. And Waldorf responded, "I don't believe you."
That's funny.
Yeah, that is good.
See,
right there.
I mean, yeah, that could totally work out. We need to. I'm building this set.
What's happening this week? Let's look at your Nightline planner. Women's tennis hits the road at Tulane March 13th, where oddly enough Rhode Island will be as well. They take on the Knights 14th. Women return home against Tulsa at 5 p.m. on the 18th. Women's track hosts the UCF Black and Gold Challenge the 17th and the 18th. Rowing battles UConn, Jacksonville, and Nova Southeastern on the 17th. And men's tennis travels to Fort Myers on the 19th for matches with Florida Gulf Coast.
And now, news and notes from the world of UCF sports. Anne-Marie Blaney makes news again. The redshirt senior posted a school record time and finished 8th in the 5,000-meter run in her first NCAA Indoor Championship appearance, earning All-American honors in the process. Congratulations.
She is in the news and notes every single week.
It's awesome.
Men's tennis beat South Alabama Sunday. Friday, the Knights lost to Tulsa. UCF 9-5 now.
Women's tennis has now lost 3 straight after losing to South Alabama and Furman. Oh, Furman. Not good. No Furman. The Knights are now 10-4, though.
Women's golf finishes 3rd in the Lady Gator Invitational in Gainesville behind Florida and Duke.
I don't know about them Gators. Good luck to former UCF and NFL wide receiver Doug Gabriel, the new head coach at Kissimmee Liberty High School.
Men's rugby beats the Seminoles. We can't beat them in baseball, but we can beat them in rugby. Final 64-13.
And finally, did you get your copy of the Venues Today magazine yet?
I have not gotten that yet.
No? Well, when you do, you'll notice UCF's on-campus arena ranked 2nd among all university venues with a capacity between 5,000 and 10,000 people. That's up from 5th last year and 8th the consecutive year the arena has made the list. That's freaking awesome. It's freaking awesome.
And you know who's coming in April? UCF grad Daniel Tosh. Tosh 2.0 on Comedy Central?
I have no idea.
What?
I don't watch Comedy Central.
Oh, my goodness.
Nothing's funny to me.
You got to watch his show. He talks about UCF from time to time.
Really?
On the show. Yes.
I don't know who he is. I've never heard of him.
Oh, my goodness.
Okay.
All right.
Well, I'll have to do that. All right. This has been episode number 101 of Knightline. I'm Andrew Phegley.
I'm Trace Trylko. Go Knights!
Charge on.
UCF, charge on to the field. With our spirits, we'll never yield. Black and gold, charge right through the line. Victory is our cry. BSCTO, or 529.